The men's basketball team travels to Champaign to take on Illinois tomorrow at 8 p.m. in a game televised by BTN. Badgers then return to the Kohl Center to host Indiana on Sunday at noon on CBS. Head coach Greg Gard is here. We'll have some opening comments and take questions.
You dressed up today, didn't you? Special day?
So did you?
Okay. All right. Obviously, reflecting back on Saturday and going through the film, offensively, we state the obvious here, that we struggled to score and put the ball in the basket. But I really liked how our guys found other ways to get things done, specifically on the defensive end and on the defensive glass. I thought that saved us, along with the obviously performance of Ethan. And going through the shots, specifically the threes of the 22 that we didn't get to go in, I would take 16 to 17 of those again. I thought there was, 5, 6, 7 of them that I would say, no, we shouldn't have shot that one. But for the most part, we were getting pretty good shots that guys have hit, and we had, for the most part, the right guys shooting them most of the time. But I thought it was a good test of our fortitude and liked how they responded and didn't flinch during huddles and didn't panic at times when things weren't going well, and kept trying to find a way and hold us close, and then obviously make a spurt there at the end and play pretty well in overtime. So now looking on to Illinois, a team that statistically you see what they do at home compared to how they are on the road. Much more potent team for whatever reason at home, very comfortable there. So we'll have to play very well, specifically defensively, to be able to contain them, because I think the points per game are close to 20 more at home than what they have been on the road for them. So looking forward to that. We'll head down there this afternoon and practice there tonight and get ready for the Illini.
Brian.
I read that you were telling jokes to your team, trying to break the ice on Saturday, hoping the ball would go in the hole. Could you possibly share any of those jokes with us, Greg? And were they funny in your mind? Did they laugh at them?
Well, I didn't pull them all out on them, but there was a couple huddles. I did kind of, guys just keep chipping away at it. Some of the better ones are, why did the cookie go to the hospital? Because he was feeling kind of crummy. 2 satellites got married. The wedding wasn't much, but the reception was great. Think of my other one. Oh, what did the football coach say to the vending machine? I want my quarterback. So I got to save a few more for if I ever need them again, but I always rely on my 2 youngest kids to feed me the good jokes that are kind of, what was the other one? Oh, I sold my vacuum the other day. It wasn't doing anything except collecting dust. So, as you can tell, none of them worked. But no, they did a good job of staying loose, and that's the nice thing about having seniors, the maturity. They've been in those situations before. You just you can't yell people into shooting better. That's one area you can't bring emotion into that component of the game. We can get emotional about how we play in transition defensively. We can get emotional about how physical we are, some of those things. But the shooting component, you can't make that an emotional. That has to be a feel and a relaxed instinct that they need to draw upon. And I thought, they kept Bronson specifically. I just said, hey, keep shooting. You're fine. Just take good ones, and we'll run a few things for you, which we did there down the stretch. And he was able to get a big one to go right there at the end of regulation. So I'll keep working on my joke components. I know they're not great.
Now I know why they kept missing.
Well, I don't know if it was laughing or crying. I mean, they know I pull out some corny stuff at times, whether it gets their attention, gets them to giggle. Sometimes I get the weird looks. One last week I threw out just a little educational thing with the team as we were talking about the opportunities they have here. My line was, it was I think a Persian proverb that I pulled out of a book that said I hated the fact that I had no shoes until I met the man that had no feet. And you talk about, I got guys in our theater film room going, I can see them mouthing it back at themselves. I hated the fact that I had no shoes until I met the man that had no feet. And just talking about the opportunities we have here and trying to teach life lessons a little bit. But standing in front, I get some pretty weird looks at times, and some coach, I'm not quite with you, and then you can see the light bulb go on, or the guys in the back, the seniors sitting back, and they start to giggle because they know they got it, and they're seeing how I'm kind of playing a little bit with the younger guys to see where their minds are. So got to keep them loose, got to have fun with it too.
Greg, we've talked about Showalter's contributions throughout the year, specifically about Saturday. What do you think he gave you late? It was late in regulation, and then before he fouled out in the overtime.
Yeah, I think it's the energy and the toughness plays. I mean, the drive he made where he fed Hap on the layup was a big play, but he does so many other things too. I think he would like to have the last foul back. He tried to put on the brakes and not run him over, but it's instinctual with him to go after loose balls. So it's you appreciate that, because 9 times out of 10, those hustle opportunities result in something good. He just couldn't get out of the way of the guy stopping there at half court. And, but he contributes in a lot of ways. When scoring comes, that's obviously a bonus for us. But the effort and the toughness and those things, and he was a guy too in the huddles of just say, hey, keep digging in, keep digging in. The verbal affirmation and the verbal positivity that those guys exuded was good.
Greg, you've talked about Nigel's ability to guard multiple positions being a luxury for you. What are some specific attributes he has that makes him a good defender?
Well, I think the one thing that gets overlooked is he's pretty smart and really sharp in terms of he understands players pretty well. He studies a lot of film away from what we do as a team. So I can tell he'll say things that he's picked up on film that this guy only does this, or he's always reverted to that in a specific situation. And I think his length, his size, his strength make him versatile. I've had him anywhere from he's guarded Jaquan Lyle at the point to when he ends up getting matched with fives, he's done that. So he understands how to play on the perimeter. He's crafty around the post. He's pulled the chair out on guys quite a bit and forced guys into traveling. He has a knack, and I think a lot of it is to what he sees. He sees things coming ahead of most players and studies it pretty well, and obviously uses his basketball IQ to our benefit. So it's a combination of things. Being 6'8" and be able to move like that obviously helps, but he also is pretty wily with his approach.
This is the first year, obviously, the NCAA is releasing I think on February 11th, the first 16 seeds. As a coach, do you like the transparency, or would you prefer it the old way?
It's going to change. I know what they're trying to kind of piggyback what college football did with releasing the playoff possibilities or the rankings every week and put some interest with it. The thing within basketball, because we play 2 to 3 times a week, it can change tomorrow. We saw this week, some of the top teams in the country got beat. So it'll be ever changing. It's great for fan interest probably and stirs conversations, but in terms of our approach, it doesn't change. And we don't watch the rankings or talk about the rankings. We just continue to try to move forward one at a time, and as long as you take care of those in order, then you'll be where you should be at the end. But I understand it, but I'm not going to spend really any time on it with the team or anything like that.
Anything else for Coach?
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.